Is this the most disastrous build-up to World Cup ever for Pakistan? And does that make us favorites or does that make us outsiders? Welcome to the shiny side. I'm your host, Faris. And we have with us from Bahrain, we have Imran Aslam. And from Dubai, not too far from Bahrain, we have Umair Qazi once again. Welcome,
Hi
guys.
guys, thank you. How
Thank
are
you,
you?
Faris. How are you?
I'm very well. I've already sat on a few team previews, and today we're previewing Team Pakistan. It's probably the hardest one to do because nothing is making sense, and it doesn't seem like any logic is being used to make any decision. So I don't even know where to start. But Imran, how do you look at the Pakistan's build-up?
So should we start the preview with 92 maybe, and then go on from there? Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think build-up has been a disaster. Nothing to write home about at all against New Zealand, Ireland, or England. We don't have clarity on who our openers are. We don't have clarity on who our wicketkeeper is. We don't have clarity on what the best 11 is. So quite a lot of things not working well. Some positives, I think, some glimmer of hope. Rauf coming back to form last game was, I think, something a big positive. Babar batting the way he has been batting in the PSL and continuing that aggression up top is also, I think, something refreshing and we need. So there are, I think, some positives here and there, like in overall, not very positive.
Umair, how do you see your the campaign, and do you hope the Pakistan team will be in the World Cup for longer than you will?
Yeah, I hope so. I hope they're there for as long as I am because I'm there till the final. So, but you see, the build-up, it's not the first time that Pakistan is going into a tournament with a build-up like this. I mean, no clarity, fine. It's happened, and that is no basis to judge how the team will do. Yes, I know a lot of people are saying there's no logic to a lot of things. We don't know our best 11, but if you think about it, there was a certain level of planning, and then probably because things didn't work out, they've gone back. So everyone wanted to split up Babar and Rizwan at the top. They gave Saim Ayub a chance. He played what 10, 12, 14 T20s. Babar or Rizwan batted at one down. They tried different combinations. Didn't work out. So the last game we have before the T20 World Cup now, we have Babar Rizwan opening again. And that was our best opening stand, the highest power play score we got. And they were doing what they have always done. And that opening has never been Pakistan's problem in T20, I feel. It was always the middle order. And right now, it is still, again, the middle order is the problem.
It's funny you say
You
that,
look at
right?
the top
Because
order, it looks fine.
Umair and I were on the show with Vivek doing an India preview earlier, and Vivek asked us, by the way, I haven't been following Pakistan cricket, so are Babar and Rizwan still opening or not? And I'm like, funny story, they haven't in the last 10 games, but they did in the last game. So I guess let's come to the opening slot. I guess everyone knows what's happened. We've had Saim batting, etc. Umair, how do you look at that? How would you put the top four together given where we are right now?
Look, I think because Saim did not work out, because he did not display the same level of form that he did in PSL or other leagues that he has, I think Babar Rizwan makes sense. It definitely makes, I mean, fine, both Babar did better at one down than Rizwan did. So I think Rizwan, there's no question that he has to open. Now, does Babar open or does Babar come one down? I think Babar and Rizwan as an opening pair were more effective than Saim and Rizwan have been. And that's the only one they've tried, right? So I think Babar and Rizwan is the way to go. The problem I feel that we see is we don't have enough reserves for the middle order. So if Azam Khan or Iftikhar are not coming off, there's no one to replace them with unless you want Saim to bat at 5 or 6, which I don't think is going to happen. So I think there Pakistan missed a trick. They probably should have had one more middle order
bat and maybe one less fast bowler because we never will play 4, so 5 is just one too many.
Exactly.
Imran, what's your take on the top two and where should we be going with this?
Yeah, so I think I have a different view from Umair here. I still think that there is enough potential and talent that we've seen from Saim, and I'd stick with him for at least the start of the tournament. So I'd go with Saim opening the batting. And like Umair said, Babar has done better at 3 compared to Rizwan, and Babar also has a more versatile and more well-rounded game. He can adapt better to different positions. So I'd go with Babar at 3, Saim and Rizwan opening the batting.
Okay, and I guess so. I think I'm probably more inclined to go with Imran here because the fact of the matter is, I do think Saim is struggling, but given the lack of options we have within the 15, I feel like it's probably better of utilizing our resources. We have Babar at 3 and Saim and Rizwan at the top. There's no perfect answer here, right? So it's like, okay, which risk are you willing to take here? Unfortunately, that's the situation we're in.
I think the other problem you have that if you bring Saim now, if you open with Saim and Rizwan and Babar comes one down, that sort of means you drop Usman Khan. And I feel Usman Khan has scored well, even though it doesn't look good or convincing, but he gets the runs, right? And at a decent strike rate. Then if you play Usman Khan, then you play him at 5, right? Because and then you have 5 openers. It's just odd.
And the real mess up we've done here is if you drop Usman Khan for the next game, you've killed Saim and Usman's confidence here, right? You kind of effectively taken out both your batsmen
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think they need to take a decision. Maybe you play Saim and Usman both and have them, because Azam Khan isn't really doing much,
Which
But
brings us to the
maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to put up the score just for a second, right? Because we haven't done that. I know we assume everybody knows the score. The score is, but the score is up on the screen here. And we have one quick too many, in my view. We don't have enough batsmen here.
Yeah.
But I think which brings us to the elephant in the room, literally. And we have to talk about Azam Khan here. And I have a view on this, right? So I've actually been somewhat supportive of having Azam Khan there, because I believe that the role he plays in the lower order, it's something which it's very hard to crack. Very few people in Pakistan can play certain innings which he can play. But what's really got me thinking about this is what we saw with his gloves the other day, right? Because I'm all for someone with that fitness level playing as a batsman and coming off perhaps once in 4 games. I think we can afford to do that, given the kind of solid players we have otherwise. But if he is keeping in that fashion, or if he's such a massive liability in the field, that changes everything for me. So, as about 3 days ago, I was thinking, what we should just have about Azam in the 11. But I'm just not so sure anymore, given what we saw with the gloves, and that's for me is a. I mean, look, I still think with the bat, Azam could, especially with a team like USA or Canada, could kind of win the game for us quite easily on his own. But that's how I'm inclined not to go towards him. But Umair, how do you see the whole Azam Khan situation now?
Yeah, no, it's tricky, right? Had he been flawless with the gloves, it would have been still okay, like you're saying. The fact that he hasn't come off except in one game against Ireland. He's played 15 T20s now. That is the only innings of note that he has. And they obviously want to keep with him because they can't hide him anywhere else in the field. That also means that you are keeping with your second best keeper, right? So yeah, it's a lot of questions. I find
Third
it
best maybe
difficult.
Usman Khan is there.
Yeah, he can keep as well. Yeah, that's true. Third
Exactly.
best, you're right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Imran, Azam Khan?
Yeah, so I agree with what both of you said, right? If he was, as I said, flawless with the gloves, and here we're not talking MS Dhoni level wicket keeping, I just want someone who's solid and doesn't drop anything simple, at least that comes to him. I would be inclined to stick with him, but after his showing in the last game with the gloves, and also I think on top of that, we've seen Azam Khan, I think he's also being found out against the short ball, and teams have very quickly realized that he is going to struggle against the short ball. So any team that you're playing that has a decent quick lineup, okay, like likes of South Africa, Australia, England, even India, he can very easily struggle against them if they start bowling short to him. And we saw that in the last game. So I think combination of both of those, I would not play Azam in the 11 to start with.
And that's the thing, right? If we were having these chats a month ago, it was a very different conversation because who do we pick? But here you already have 15. So short of you giving someone a nice back spasm in the last minute, this is the universe you have, right? So unfortunately, there's not a lot that can be done here. So if you look at the score, by the way, do you think there's any notable people who you would have, like, I'm pretty sure we don't think there's anyone who's a sure shot should have been there is not in the 15. But anyone you think should have been in the mix? I mean, for me, a couple of names that stand out are perhaps Mohammad Haris with the bat, of course, in spite of his recent poor form, and Mohammad Wasim Jr. with the ball. But Imran, do you have a view on anybody who should have been there in the 15 and is not there?
I don't think there's any glaring omission per se. Okay, maybe Haris, but then Haris is again kind of in the same mold. Wicketkeeper, top order batsman, which you already have too many of those. So I don't see a glaring omission per se. Yeah, you can argue Wasim over one of the other quicks, but it's it's a marginal calls, all of them. But the composition of the squad is a problem, right? Like Umair said, you do not have backup middle order batsmen. So Iftikhar, Azam Khan are your only backup, and if you're not playing Azam, you're effectively playing 4 openers in the 11, which is a big problem. But I think the problem is nobody shown in the middle order even in the PSL, right? You did not have any standout middle order finishers coming out from the PSL even.
I mean,
that you could
Umair, I'd love to hear your view on this also, but also I think I feel like someone who's traveling with the team right now is Agha Salman, who's barely played T20 for Pakistan, but he's somebody who could probably be pretty good backup for 1 to all the way to 6. We've seen him in other formats as well, and in the PSL for Islamabad. So, Umair, how would you look at the squad, by the way? Any big misses for you?
Yeah, I think as we said in the start, we are missing one batsman, a middle order batsman, not a top order one, and we're one pacer too heavy. Yeah, I feel now, given that I feel that the middle order is the problem, which has always been. Irfan Khan, this guy who played against the series against New Zealand before he got injured. He traveled to Ireland and England. Against New Zealand, I think he played 2 games before he had a back spasm or something. But those 2 knocks were pretty decent in number 6, So someone like him, I think, might have been more helpful.
Yeah. I'm quickly going to put up the schedule, by the way. So I think let's have a look at what we are playing and where we are playing. Unlike some of the other previews I've done so far, it seems like the Pakistanis are traveling a fair bit. So if you look at the games, we start off with Dallas this Thursday. Then we fly to New York. We play India on Sunday on the 9th. Then we play Canada also in New York a couple of days later. And then we play Ireland in Florida. And assuming we make it to the next round, and assuming the next 3 teams do as well, our next 3 games are South Africa and Antigua, and then West Indies and England and Barbados. And just FYI, Antigua is known to be one of the most low-scoring grounds in the West Indies. So once we are in that ground, I feel like that's the kind of conditions that would perhaps bring Pakistan into that game. Having said that, Barbados is flat as you can imagine, and that's where England and West Indies would love to play. So that's how what the schedule is currently looking like. Any thoughts on the schedule, Umair? I mean, this is also your schedule, so you probably know this better than me. But
it is also my schedule, and right now the only worry we have is that I'm landing in New York on the 8th morning, and 24 hours after that, we could be out of the tournament. People are talking about USA beating Pakistan just because they chased 195 against Canada. And then if we lose to India, then that's done, right? We're done.
Wow.
But yeah, this is my travel plan as well, what you just put up. Look, it should be straightforward. Besides the India game, Pakistan should win the other 3, should make it to the Super 8s. And then, it's not, the Super 8s will be interesting. As you said, West Indies and England and Barbados will, if they bat first, they'll score like 220 plus and bat us out of the game. But yeah, look, all teams I feel have first round quite straightforward. But it's T20. There may be some upsets. Should be
Imran, views on the schedule and the format?
Yeah, so I think it's like Umair said, I think we should be okay getting through the first round. Hopefully no banana peels there. And then once we are in the West Indies in the Super 8, I see Barbados, both West Indies and England as a big, big challenge. So we probably, yes, South Africa, given our record, given the surface we play on, good chance. But both England and West Indies in Barbados is going to be tough for us for sure.
I have a hypothetical question for both of you. So if Afghanistan qualifies instead of the West Indies, they come in this group. Who would you rather play in Barbados? Umair, you go first. Do you think Pakistan would rather play Afghanistan in Barbados or the West Indies?
Afghanistan.
Imran?
I'd rather play Afghanistan.
Same, Afghanistan.
Yeah, it's one of those things, right? Where if we have to lose, I'd rather lose to the West Indies. But yeah, especially in those conditions, I feel like Afghanistan is a better option to take. Okay, guys, now this
look
is
at
becoming...
West Indies batting. Sorry.
Yeah.
Look at West Indies batting right now, and look at what they did to Australia's spinners in the last game.
Nicholas Pooran, I think 25 balls, 75. It's like strike rate of 300, man. Next level.
They have 11 guys who bat the same way, by the way. So this is going to be incredible to watch.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the hardest part of this. I was going to ask you guys to send me your 11s, but then I said, you know what? I'm just going to put mine up, and I think they're all very different. At the moment, with the squad we have, and I know I said something different in the beginning, but this is how I kind of would put it together. I'm actually thinking, you know what? We leave Azam out. We even leave Saim out, or maybe so one of Saim and Usman can play. And then what I'm basically doing here, Umair, is I'm playing 6 bowlers. I'm playing, if you call Shadab as a bowler, I'm playing Shaheen, Naseem, Rauf, and I'm playing Abrar, Ahmed, and Shadab. And this is how I'm putting it together. But I would love to hear what you two think should be the 11 should be. Imran, you want to go first?
So I think you've gone like bowler heavy and left the batting a bit.
Because I feel like the backup batting options are not that strong right now. Yeah.
I agree with you what you're saying. So, but like I said, I would still be keen to have Simon there, which unfortunately puts Usman probably out of his comfort zone batting, I don't know, 5, 6, where he hit. But I'd be inclined to get Simon there for
So
sure.
you would put Saim at the top, and then you would have Fakhar at 4 and Usman at 5. Is that what you're saying roughly?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. And then which bowler would you take out from here?
That's a good one. I mean, it may sound strange, but I have a big question mark on Shadab right now. Right?
No, it's not strange at all. Twitter's full of this. But
yeah, I mean, true. I mean, considering he's our quasi vice captain or whatnot, but so I think I have a big question mark on Shadab right now, especially if you're playing on non-spin friendly grounds. If you're playing Imad and you're playing Abrar, I would be inclined to go with the other quicks and leave Shadab out.
And you would have Imad and Abrar both, and also I guess on the Umair, okay, your view now first on the openers and stuff. How would you line this up?
Look, I think it's bowler heavy. The only change I would make in this team is take out Shadab, and I'd add a batsman. Now, whether
You would add
that's
Saim
Saim
or Azam. Those are the only
or
options.
Azam, I mean, either or. And look, at the end of the
Yeah.
day, fine. We already have 4 openers with Babar, Rizwan, Usman, Fakhar, right? Now, if you have a question mark between Azam Khan and Saim Ayub, or Azam Khan or Usman Khan at number 5, I think at this stage, both Saim and Usman may do better than Azam. So, might as
So
well.
you would play one of Saim or Usman at 4. That's a 5. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. And
I think I agree. It's a bit of a floating position, though, right? It's a 5, 6, whatever,
I mean,
depending on the situation.
Exactly.
But, yeah.
Shadab could come at 5, Imad could come at 5, Iftikhar could come at 5, and your top 4 is set, which is what you had on the screen. Babar, Rizwan, Usman, Fakhar. I'd go with this top 4. Then 5 onwards is fluid depending on game situation.
And obviously, generally in T20, after a certain point, you should send in guys based on how many overs left and who's bowling, as opposed to their number anyway.
Yeah.
So I guess another thing which I've subtly thrown in the 11, which you guys haven't noticed, or maybe you have, is I've left Mohammad Amir out.
Abrar.
And the 3 pacers I've picked are Shaheen, Naseem, and Haris. Umair, how would you go about with your pacer act?
Look, I think with Haris Rauf coming back to form in the 2 games against England, I think he bowled really well. These are your top 3: Shaheen, Naseem, Haris. I feel Amir can be effective. I don't see where we'll play 4 pacers. It should probably be 3 pacers and 2 spinners. So maybe you rotate Amir and Naseem, or Amir and Haris, depending on form and opposition. But I think Amir will get a few games, but I don't see them playing 4 pacers in any game.
So, Umair, just to be clear, can you just say, so what is your 11 then? Your perfect 11? You've got Babar Rizwan, Usman, Fakhar, and then you said Saim, I think you said, right? That's the top 5. And then who else would you have in there?
I would just, from this 11 that you have on screen, I'll take Shadab out and I'll add Saim Ayub.
Got it.
That's my 11.
Got it. And Imran, you have the same pretty much, I think, except you may have a different order for the top 5.
Yeah, same, exactly the same change. Put Simon instead of Shadab, but put Simon at the top and let Usman be the floater.
The Abrar thing is funny, right? Because everybody you speak to thinks he should be in there. He hasn't played a game. And part of me believes that we are being defensive. I want spinners who can bat. The other part is that we are trying to hold him back, which is a mystery. That's not the kind of thing Pakistan normally does, but I'm really hoping that's it, because I don't know why he's not being put on the field. Any take on that, guys? Umair?
I like to believe that they're trying to shield him and not expose him too much. I like to believe that. Some people are saying that you are thinking way ahead.
You are delusional?
Of any other person in the management can even think on these lines, but I like to believe that's the reason. And honestly, if that is the reason, we will not even see him play in the first round. He will not play against Ireland, Canada, USA, not even against India. He will come in during the Super 8s. I think if this is a strategy that you're shielding him, they will not play him till the Super 8s. The India spinner doesn't make sense. Against the 3 weak teams, you don't want to expose him again because you don't want other teams to see him. So he comes in as a mystery spinner once you make it.
I think वो final में आएगा. तो आजम को वैसे नहीं खिला रहे, ये भी नहीं खेलेगा, तो 13 लोग जाएंगे.
But I think he should play. I mean, he can be your highest wicket taker.
I mean, the way I see it, look, I think the mystery thing especially works against the weaker sides, right? So if you play him against the USA or Canada, they would probably struggle against someone like him, I feel like. Imran, what's your take on that?
Yeah. I think so. I agree. I think he is being held back, Mr. Spinner. And yeah, I know it's our management doesn't normally think that far ahead, but with question coming into the mix, it's a very South Africa is smooth, hiding someone like Paul Adams until bringing him on as a surprise in the '96 World Cup. So I think it would make sense that they're hiding, or I would think that's probably coming from Kristen if that is the case. I would actually get him in early on. I wouldn't keep him out till Super 8. And you need to give him some game time. You need to give him some confidence as well. I don't know, USA or somebody at least, let him get along the wickets. Maybe not play every single game, but I'd be inclined to get him in early
I
on.
mean, you know what? He could even take Kohli and Rohit out. Like, who knows, right? Like, he has a mystery element, and they have a track record losing the wickets to spinners. So it's not like, I know India plays spin well overall, but very often you've seen Kohli and Rohit go down to spin. So, especially
India plays spin overall, yes, but like you said, if you look at strike rates against spin, there is some weaknesses there. It's not all that great.
In fact,
so maybe you don't take wickets, but
the only thing is, you know what? Yeah, sorry, go on.
I was saying maybe there is an element of being able to contain, especially if Rohit, Kohli are batting. There's an element that you can contain them with some good spin.
I just think we are giving too much credit to the management for them being so clever that they've held them back. I don't think that's the case. I mean, on the one hand,
Bro,
we've got
Gary Kirsten है यार, वो बहुत बड़ा coach है.
Ireland में भी नहीं खिलाया उसको. Who knows? But the funny thing is, on the one hand, हमारी team है, then the other side, have you seen Josh Butler's level of planning? Josh Butler had 10 days between the IPL final and the World Cup. He managed to have his child right in the middle of the 10-day period. He had his third kid like 5 days ago. That's how you plan, man. That's how you plan.
कमाल है. ये planning उसने 18 महीने पहले शुरू कर दी.
Seriously, World Cup schedule देख के. And imagine 10 days between the IPL final and the World Cup, 5 days in the middle, he has his kid. So well done, Josh. Congrats on that baby. But
वो 1-2 दिन से off हो गया because he missed one. Actually, that T20 didn't happen, right?
But it was washed out, right? So it washed out.
It got rolled off. That was the master plan.
बारिश ने भी साथ दे दिया उसको.
If you plan so well, maybe cloud seeding भी कराई उसने, but who knows? But guys, before we wrap up, by those of you watching, by the way, what would your 11 be? We would love to know. Please leave a comment. But Umair, it's a hard question to answer anyway, even harder when you're traveling for the World Cup. How far do you see Pakistan going?
Finally. Australia-Pakistan final. It's happening.
Interesting. Imran?
Yeah, I hate to say this, but I will take the more pragmatic view. I don't see us going past the Super 8s.
But you do see us going to the Super 8s, right?
Yes, I do see us going to the Super 8s, but I don't see us going past the Super 8. I do feel, by the way, that there is a high chance we'll drop a game in the first round, but we'll get to the Super 8. But I don't see us going past.
If we drop a game besides India, then we're done.
You know what Emmer Nakvi said on Batta Fast, the only way we can win this tournament is if we lose to US, then we come back and beat India and go on a run. That's how we're winning it. Otherwise, we're not winning it.
Maybe. Manzoor hai.
But Umair ka travel thoda sa tension mein
gulega. Travel. We'll enjoy the holiday. I'm going to the Caribbean for the first time. We're doing Mexico in the middle, so it'll be fun. But I'm more worried about Gary Kirsten and that Ireland match. It's actually the USA. It's not the West Indies, but same region. South African coach. Ireland again.
And the thing is, there's so if you look at based on the seeds, even right, Pakistan and Ireland should both beat USA and Canada based on like the rankings. And assuming they both lose to India, that Ireland-Pakistan 5th game will literally be a knockout game. The winner goes to the Super 8s, the loser goes home. So that there could be a bit of riding on that game now, both teams.
Absolutely. But given USA, I think they'll beat Ireland. They beat them in 2 games in the 3-match series they had.
Yeah.
And the 3rd game that they lost was like 5 runs or 6 runs.
Yeah, so I have a feeling the first round we're going to be doing net run rate calculations for the Super 8.
Yeah, the way they chased this morning, man. Oh my God. That guy scored what, 95 or like 40?
Yeah, 95 or 40.
10 छक्के मारे उसने यार. हमारा कोई बैट्समैन नहीं जो 10 छक्के मार सकता है. Fakhar कोई और नहीं है.
But guys, just one more thing I forgot to bring up, by the way. So as part of the preview, we do this thing where you have to pick 2 guys who you think will be star performers for the team and 1 guy who you think will flop. So Umair, you want to go first for Pakistan? 2 guys who you think will do well and 1 person who will flop.
Babar Azam and Shaheen Afidi. I think
safe picks.
They are star performers.
And flop?
Who will flop? If they keep playing Shadab, he'll keep flopping.
Imran?
Yeah. I go with Babar and Haris. So similar to me, but I think Haris coming back from hungry to prove himself. So I go with Babar and Haris. And yes, if they play Shadab, or if they play Azam Khan. Either of whoever out of those two players will be the flop.
I would go with Babar for sure. And I think the other guy I'm expecting to do well would probably be Haris as well. I think the flop for me is going to be Ifti Mania. I just feel like I don't know. I just feel like something, because he just hasn't really been playing those amazing knocks lately. And let's see.
Yeah.
But good stuff, guys. Thank you for being on.
Thank you.
Thank you, Faris. Happy to be
And
here.
we'll be, I guess we'll be seeing more of you guys soon as the World Cup progresses. Those of you watching, we'll be back with some more previews. In the meantime, stay tuned with Shiny Side.